Hi, I would like to post about seeing orbs or UFOs. I'm not sure what they are, to be honest, but I would like to describe the one major one that I've seen and then the smaller flashes of the same colour that I've seen in the night sky at different points. So in 2009, I met a man. I missed a plane to Melbourne flying across Australia. I met a guy at a New Year's dance party, and he said he was going to drive across the Nullarbor, which is all the way across the middle of Australia, to go to a festival over there. So, having missed my plane, having no money for another flight, I jumped in his van. On the way, we fell in love, and it was super sweet. When we started out our journey in Perth, was at this festival, we had quite a mind-blowing experience. We were walking along on about night 2 or 3 of the festival. I think night 2 because it was a 4-night festival, and it should have been clear as day to anyone. There was a giant orange, really glowing bright orb that was just floating really slowly across the sky, and it was within reach. It must have been, I don't know, 15, 20 meters, maybe less. It was within reach, and it was traveling really slowly across the night sky, and we were just a bit blown away and started following it. And there were several thousand people all around. I don't know why we were the only ones that were following it, but we were. Perhaps people can see these things when they delve into the same consciousness together. I don't know, have some sort of close affiliation, tap into something. I don't know why everyone wasn't just out there watching it. What we then did was my boyfriend said, go back to the camp and we'll sit in our deck chairs and we'll watch the night sky. So we did that all night. And we would see this orange star in the sky, and we'd watch it, and it was just star shape, star size by now, and it would just occasionally dip or dance. It seemed to just slightly dance occasionally, and then we'd go, there, it's happened again. And it would be, it could be about a minute between each time or longer. We sat there for about 4 hours watching it, quite honestly. And at one point he said to a passerby, oh, look, can you see this up here? And yeah, the guy just thought we're nuts and kept on walking. We watched this thing, and then a couple of times, maybe 3 or 4 times over that 4 hours, this star flashed a little bit, how do I describe this? A little bit down, so the star is still there, but a little bit down and to either the right or the left of it, it then just flashed. So if you're looking in the night sky, it might be about a centimetre down, and then it would, to have a bright flash go off nearby it. But basically, most of the time, it's staying relatively still. Occasionally, it would dance, like just hop a bit and then just be still again. And then occasionally, it would just like dip suddenly, and we would just catch it at the same time and go, whoa, it happened again. So that was the experience with that. So we were talking about this quite a lot, and my boyfriend, my new boyfriend, said, if this happens again, let's just grab everybody and see if they can see it. So anyway, we partied on for a couple more days, having an amazing time at the Rainbow Serpent Festival in Victoria. And two nights later, I reckon it was the last night of the festival. A lot of people had gone home, but the last night's always the best. And we were just sort of on the last dance floor at the last tent. And I was just having a dance and looked up through a gap. It's probably about midnight. Looked up through a gap in the tent, and I'm like, there it is. And I just like touched him on the arm and just walked straight out towards it. And I looked back towards him, and he was just, I can't remember what I said. I was like, it's here. And he was grabbing people. He grabbed about 10 or 12 people and said, come on, come outside and look at this. So the next thing I remember, there's about 10 or 12 of us huddled together in a group looking at this orb, which is again same bright, like iridescent orange, glowing, same color across the entire orb. So it's oblong, sort of oblong, eggy shaped, but like an egg on its side. And it was the same iridescent throughout. So it wasn't glowing more in one particular spot. And it was again just within reach. I really can't estimate, at the treetops, just above the treetops. And it was floating along really, really slowly. And I was standing there with a bunch of 10 strangers, and we were looking at this thing go past, and everybody was just in silence. I just remember us being huddled together and just watching this, and my mouth was just like dropped open. I was like, in my head, I'm just going, what the fuck? And then the funniest bit was one of the chicks standing with us just started, amidst the silence and awe, just started going, what is it? What is it? And she just, the only one that started speaking up, and I just looked at her, I go, I don't know. And that was that. So that was the experience with that orb, which is the strongest, most visible experience I've had with UFOs. Another friend at that festival who didn't see it insists that these orbs were lanterns, that they're human-made lanterns. You make a wire, almost out of coat hangers, you make a wire frame, and you put like rice paper around it. And he goes, you put candles in them, set them off, and he reckons they look really, really realistic. Now, I don't talk to he still brings that up and just denies that we had any experience. But this wasn't no lantern. This was not a lantern. For starters, it was huge. It was the size of about a bus. It was about the size of a bus. Yeah, and just the way it glided, and it was gliding across the sky. Like, it was not rising. This was definitely not rising. And I'm really glad we confirmed that a bunch of strangers could see it with us. Yeah, so that was that one. Then I was still seeing him a few months later. We lasted about a year together. We ended up in England for a wedding. I love England, love going over there. And one of my favourite places to go is crop circle territory. And yeah, he ended up going into a doof party there at some point, and I waited in the car, and I was seeing around this place the same flashes that I'd seen at this festival in Victoria about a year earlier. So it was orange star, and then just would suddenly dip and will move very quickly and then just be stationary again and look like a normal night sky. So it's kind of like a UFO playing hide and seek, I guess you could look at it that way. So that was the next experience. These look very different to satellites. Satellites move, or the way that you see a satellite move across the sky. This huge bus-sized orb at treetop level was that was moving in the same way, I guess, that you would see a satellite move, but it was just so close. So obviously it wasn't a satellite. Yeah, so these stars that I've seen moving in the sky are different to satellites. For starters, they're not white. They don't travel across the sky the one that we saw that was a bus-sized orb close to the treetops. That was travelling in the same way that a satellite would travel, but so close that if it had been a satellite, we would have been able to see the actual satellite, and anyway, it would have burned up by the time it reached the atmosphere. So, but the ones that I see as the stars in the sky have not moved as a satellite would move. For starters, they're not the same colour as a satellite. A satellite is the colour of a bright star. These were orange in colour, and the way they would move would be erratically. They'd move suddenly, be stationary, and then move again. So, like jumping. Yep, that's all I wanted to say on that little experiences with, or my one major experience with orbs or UFOs. I don't know which. Signing out. Ciao.